When Marcus Thompson became Atlanta's most trusted security guard, wealthy clients relied on him to protect their lives and property. But when his gambling debts and robbery connections consumed him, he began staging break-ins and murdering witnesses who discovered his crimes, turning security shifts into deadly inside jobs. Before starting the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Now let's get back to the video. The humid Atlanta evening air hung heavy with the scent of magnolias as Marcus Thompson adjusted his radio and prepared surveillance equipment for what would become the most dangerous security shift of his 17-year career as Georgia's most respected private security specialist and protective services professional. At 45 years old, Marcus had established himself as Atlanta's premier security guard, specializing in executive protection and high-end residential security that attracted wealthy business leaders, celebrity clients, and prominent families who valued his expertise in threat assessment and his reputation for maintaining absolute vigilance while providing discreet protection services for their most valuable assets. Marcus's security company operated from a sophisticated control center in Atlanta's prestigious Buckhead district, featuring state-of-the-art surveillance systems, emergency response equipment, and communication networks that provided comprehensive protection services for luxury estates, corporate facilities, and high-profile events throughout the Southeast. His clientele included tech executives requiring personal protection during business travel, entertainment industry professionals needing security for private events, and wealthy retirees whose substantial assets demanded round-the-clock protection from potential threats. The interior of Marcus's primary security installation reflected his commitment to professional protection services and his understanding of wealthy clients' expectations for both visible security presence and invisible surveillance capabilities, featuring advanced alarm systems, motion detection equipment, and real-time monitoring technology that allowed him to coordinate multiple security operations while maintaining constant communication with local law enforcement agencies. His walls displayed security certifications, law enforcement training credentials, and testimonials from grateful clients whose lives and property had been protected through his vigilant security services. But beneath Marcus's reputation for security excellence lay a dangerous combination of compulsive gambling, organized robbery operations, and systematic murder that had transformed his protection services into criminal enterprises, where threatening clients and suspicious investigators met their fate through staged break-ins and deliberate security failures. "Good evening, Marcus," said Victoria Sterling, his 8 o'clock client and a 57-year-old pharmaceutical heiress whose palatial estate required comprehensive security coverage during her frequent international travel that left valuable artwork, jewelry collections, and sensitive business documents vulnerable to sophisticated theft operations. Victoria was worth approximately $45 million from her family's medical device company and had been relying on Marcus's security services for over 4 years, trusting him not only with her property protection, but also with detailed knowledge of her security systems and asset locations that made her vulnerable to inside information theft. "Good evening, Mrs. Sterling," Marcus replied with the professional vigilance and security expertise that had made him legendary among Atlanta's wealthy elite who viewed him as both protector and confidential guardian, capable of safeguarding their most precious possessions while maintaining absolute discretion about their security vulnerabilities and protection requirements. "I've completed the perimeter inspection and updated all surveillance systems for tonight's shift. The estate is fully secured and all alarm systems are functioning properly." Victoria had become Marcus's most dangerous client, not because of her demanding security requirements or her valuable assets, but because of her recent discovery of suspicious activities during previous security shifts and her growing awareness of the systematic theft operations that Marcus had been conducting while supposedly protecting her property from external threats. What Victoria didn't know was that Marcus had been systematically robbing clients and murdering witnesses for over 4 years, using his security expertise and access to valuable properties to conduct inside theft operations while eliminating anyone who discovered his criminal activities. Marcus's transformation from trusted security guard to calculating killer had begun 6 years earlier when his compulsive gambling addiction at Atlanta's underground poker games had escalated from weekend entertainment to daily high-stakes betting that consumed his security company profits and forced him into desperate debt with organized crime figures who controlled the city's illegal gambling operations. His losses at poker tables, sports betting, and casino trips had accumulated to over $1 million, with loan sharks demanding immediate payment and threatening to destroy his business and harm his family if he couldn't produce the money. Faced with impossible financial demands and credible threats of violence, Marcus had begun using his security access to conduct systematic theft operations, coordinating with criminal organizations to rob his wealthy clients while using his inside knowledge of their security systems, asset locations, and travel schedules to ensure successful heists that would generate substantial profits for both himself and his criminal partners. His criminal activities had escalated when several clients had discovered evidence of inside theft and had threatened to report their suspicions to law enforcement agencies investigating sophisticated robbery operations targeting wealthy Atlanta residents. Marcus had murdered his first victim, a prominent businessman who had detected security system manipulations, by staging a fatal home invasion during what appeared to be a random break-in that occurred despite comprehensive security protection. The success of his first murder had convinced Marcus that eliminating suspicious clients and threatening investigators was both necessary for protecting his theft operation and relatively easy to accomplish, given his security expertise and access to isolated properties where deaths could be staged as security failures or random criminal activities. Over the following 4 years, Marcus had murdered 13 additional individuals using various methods that took advantage of his security knowledge, his access to clients' homes during vulnerable moments, and his ability to manipulate alarm systems and surveillance equipment to conceal evidence of deliberate criminal activity. His victims had been carefully selected based on their discovery of his theft operations, their potential cooperation with law enforcement, and their security arrangements that provided opportunities for staged robberies and murders. His victims had included Dr. Patricia Williams, a forensic security consultant who had been investigating patterns of inside theft and whose home security system had been deliberately disabled during a fatal break-in; Jennifer Martinez, a wealthy socialite who had discovered Marcus's theft activities and whose death had been staged as a carjacking that occurred despite personal protection services; and David Foster, a federal investigator who had been tracking organized theft operations and whose security consultation had ended in fatal assault during what appeared to be a random attack on his residence. "Marcus, I need to discuss some serious concerns about suspicious break-ins and reports of inside theft activities connected to your security services," said Detective Sarah Rodriguez of the Atlanta Police Department's Organized Crime Division, as she arrived at Victoria's estate carrying a warrant to inspect Marcus's security equipment and interview him about suspicious activities. Detective Rodriguez specialized in investigating organized theft operations and had developed expertise in recognizing patterns of inside information theft that exploited security services and wealthy clients' trust in professional protection providers. Detective Rodriguez's investigation represented an existential threat to Marcus's criminal operation, as her law enforcement expertise and access to theft databases could expose the systematic inside robbery operations and connect him to multiple suspicious break-ins and client deaths. "Of course, Detective Rodriguez," Marcus replied, though he felt the familiar surge of anxiety and aggression that accompanied any official scrutiny of his security operations by law enforcement officers who possessed the training and resources to detect evidence of inside theft and systematic murder disguised as security failures or random criminal activities. "Client safety and property protection are always my highest priorities, and I want to cooperate with any investigation that might help protect residents and ensure that security services operate according to all applicable professional standards." Detective Rodriguez consulted detailed reports from theft investigations and insurance fraud analysts that showed patterns of sophisticated break-ins and security failures that suggested systematic inside information operations rather than random criminal activities or legitimate security vulnerabilities. "Marcus, I've been investigating reports of organized theft operations that appear to be using inside information from security services," Detective Rodriguez said with the investigative precision that had made her successful in solving complex organized crime cases. 13 individuals who were clients of your security company have been victims of sophisticated break-ins or violent crimes that show evidence of inside knowledge about security systems and asset locations, with several of these incidents occurring immediately after the victims had expressed concerns about potential security breaches or had threatened to change security providers. The detective's identification of the inside theft patterns and her recognition of the timing correlation between client suspicions and criminal incidents confirmed Marcus's worst fears that his criminal activities had been analyzed and connected to his systematic elimination of suspicious clients and potential witnesses to his organized theft operations. Marcus's response was swift and deadly, as he realized that eliminating Detective Rodriguez was essential for protecting his criminal enterprise and preventing exposure of his systematic theft and murder operations. Detective Rodriguez, I think there may be some misunderstanding about the inherent limitations of security services and the unfortunate reality that determined criminals can sometimes overcome even the most sophisticated protection systems, Marcus said, while discreetly reaching for a tactical baton that he had modified with a concealed electrical shocking device for emergency elimination of law enforcement threats. Perhaps we could examine some specific security installations where I can demonstrate the protection protocols that might explain these apparent security failures. Professional security involves complex systems that might appear suspicious to those unfamiliar with protection technologies and threat assessment procedures. Detective Rodriguez agreed to examine Marcus's security systems, not realizing that the security guard was leading her to an isolated area of the estate where previous murders had been committed and where Marcus planned to attack her using his modified tactical baton that would deliver fatal electrical shock while appearing to be an accident involving security equipment malfunction. Marcus's plan involved convincing Detective Rodriguez to examine specific security devices while explaining protection procedures, then using his modified baton to deliver fatal electrical shock that would cause cardiac arrest while appearing to be an accidental electrocution from defective security equipment rather than deliberate murder by a security guard protecting his criminal operations. But Marcus's carefully planned murder of the detective was about to be prevented by the unexpected arrival of federal agents who had been investigating organized theft networks and had identified connections to a security company. Special Agent Jennifer Walsh of the FBI's Organized Crime Division had been conducting a comprehensive investigation into sophisticated theft operations that used legitimate security services to gather inside information about wealthy targets while coordinating systematic robbery operations that eliminated potential witnesses. Agent Walsh specialized in investigating organized theft networks and had developed expertise in tracking criminal organizations that exploited professional services to conduct systematic theft while eliminating threats to their operations. The federal investigation had been initiated by reports from multiple law enforcement agencies and insurance companies who had noticed patterns of sophisticated theft operations and suspicious deaths that suggested organized criminal networks were using security services to identify valuable targets while eliminating potential witnesses to their criminal activities. Agent Walsh had been conducting surveillance of Marcus's security operations and had documented evidence of systematic inside theft, client elimination, and coordination with organized crime figures that suggested his security expertise was being used for organized criminal activity rather than legitimate protection services. Marcus Thompson, I'm Special Agent Walsh with the FBI, she announced as she approached the isolated area where Marcus was preparing to murder Detective Rodriguez. I have federal warrants for your arrest on charges of conspiracy to commit organized theft, conspiracy to commit murder, and multiple counts of first-degree murder related to your systematic exploitation of security services for criminal theft operations and elimination of potential witnesses. Marcus's reaction to the federal agent's intervention was a combination of security professionalism and desperate attempts to maintain his protection authority, as he realized that law enforcement agencies at multiple levels had been investigating his theft activities and had connected them to systematic client murders and organized crime operations. His carefully maintained reputation as a trusted security professional had failed to protect him from comprehensive investigation by agencies with expertise in organized crime and systematic theft. Special Agent Walsh, there must be some serious misunderstanding about legitimate security operations and the complex protection challenges involved in safeguarding wealthy clients from sophisticated criminal threats, Marcus said frantically, while abandoning his plan to electrocute Detective Rodriguez and attempting to preserve some semblance of professional credibility, despite the overwhelming evidence against his criminal activities. I am a licensed security professional with 17 years of experience, providing protection services for Atlanta's most prominent business leaders and wealthy families. All of my security operations comply with established professional standards and legal requirements designed to protect clients while ensuring property security and personal safety. Detective Rodriguez looked absolutely shocked as she realized how close she had come to being murdered by the security guard she'd been investigating for organized theft. Her organized crime investigation had not only exposed Marcus's systematic theft and murder operation, but it also prevented her own death at the hands of a killer who had been using security services as cover for systematic elimination of clients and law enforcement threats. The comprehensive investigation that followed Marcus's arrest revealed the full scope of his criminal enterprise and the sophisticated methods he had developed to exploit security expertise for systematic theft and murder. Forensic analysis of Marcus's security operations revealed extensive evidence of his theft coordination activities, including detailed floor plans and asset inventories of client properties, sophisticated communication equipment for coordinating with criminal organizations, and comprehensive records showing the timing and execution of theft operations disguised as security failures. His security equipment had been modified to facilitate criminal access. His surveillance systems had been used to identify valuable targets, and his client files contained detailed profiles of wealthy individuals who had been targeted for systematic theft and murder. The investigation also uncovered Marcus's connections to organized crime figures who had been using his security services as an intelligence-gathering operation for planning sophisticated theft operations throughout the Southeast. His criminal network included corrupt law enforcement contacts who had provided information about theft investigations, dishonest insurance adjusters who had facilitated fraudulent claims, and professional thieves who had executed the robbery operations coordinated through his security intelligence. Most disturbing was the discovery of Marcus's detailed knowledge of security vulnerabilities and his development of increasingly sophisticated methods for disabling protection systems while staging theft operations to appear as random criminal activities rather than coordinated inside jobs involving security professionals. Marcus Thompson was ultimately convicted of 14 counts of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit organized theft, conspiracy to commit organized criminal enterprise activities, and numerous other charges related to his exploitation of security services for criminal theft operations and elimination of potential witnesses. The conviction sent unprecedented shockwaves throughout Atlanta's private security industry, prompting immediate reforms in security licensing, client protection protocols, and organized crime prevention measures designed to protect wealthy individuals from exploitation by trusted security professionals involved in criminal activities. Several other security companies and protection specialists were investigated for similar criminal activities, resulting in enhanced oversight of security operations and new requirements for background screening and ongoing monitoring that made it more difficult for criminals to exploit security services for systematic theft and murder. Detective Rodriguez and Special Agent Walsh received recognition for their collaborative investigation and became specialists in security industry crime investigation, developing new techniques for identifying organized theft operations and protecting clients from exploitation by criminal security professionals. Victoria Sterling and other surviving clients required extensive security consultations and alternative protection arrangements to overcome the trauma of learning that their trusted security guard had been systematically stealing from them and murdering clients while exploiting his protection services for organized criminal activities. The security industry implemented comprehensive new safety protocols designed to protect clients from exploitation by unethical security professionals. The case prompted comprehensive changes in private security regulation, including mandatory background checks for all security personnel, enhanced oversight of protection operations, real-time monitoring of security activities, and new reporting procedures for suspicious security behavior involving client property or potential theft indicators. Marcus's conviction also led to increased cooperation between security industry organizations and law enforcement agencies investigating organized crime, with new protocols designed to identify security services that might be exploiting their protection operations for systematic criminal activities while eliminating potential witnesses. The security and broader protection services industries implemented revolutionary new safety measures, including enhanced screening procedures for security personnel, comprehensive client protection programs, mandatory reporting of suspicious security activities, and improved training for recognizing signs of organized theft and client endangerment in security settings. 5 years after Marcus's conviction and life imprisonment, Atlanta's security community continued to implement safeguards designed to protect clients from security guards who might abuse their positions of trust and protection authority for criminal purposes. The security guard who had promised to protect wealthy clients' lives and property had instead used his security expertise and access to private information to commit systematic theft and murder while turning protection services into criminal intelligence operations that facilitated organized robbery and eliminated potential witnesses. However, his crimes had been thoroughly exposed and his victims had found justice through the dedication of investigators who refused to accept security failures as mere professional inadequacy. Marcus Thompson's final watch had ended in permanent federal imprisonment, where he would serve multiple life sentences without possibility of parole, proving that even security professionals who attempted to exploit their protection expertise for criminal gain could be identified, investigated, and brought to justice when dedicated law enforcement agencies worked together to protect innocent clients from predatory security providers. The security guard's final watch had concluded with his permanent detention, serving as a lasting reminder that those entrusted with protecting others must never abuse that sacred responsibility, and that security professionals who would exploit client trust for criminal gain will ultimately face the full consequences of their betrayal of protection ethics and human safety. Thank you very much for listening. Please let us know what you think of this story in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any other videos.